Hi everyone, I am Mahesh. In this video, I am going to show you how to sort elements in an array using bubble sort algorithm. Let us understand how bubble sort algorithm works by taking an example. Let's say for example, we have an array of 6 elements as shown here, and how bubble sort algorithm works is, let's say for example, these are the indexes of the array 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. How bubble sort algorithm works is, we will actually pick up the first element from the array, that is the element which is at the index 0. We'll pick up this element which is 30 here, and we'll compare with the next element in the array, that is which is at index 1, next index. So 30 is, and we'll compare those values. How we compare is 30 greater than 40? We'll check that condition. If it is true, then we'll swap these two elements, or else we'll just ignore and we'll actually go to the next index element. Next index is 1. So whatever the element here, we'll pick up that element and then we'll again do the same process. Like if 40, we'll check if 40 is greater than next element which is at index 2. Is 40 greater than 50? No. Then we'll do nothing there, and we'll just go to the next index, that is 2 here. Next index is 2, and we'll actually read the value from this array, read the value from this index, that is 50 here. So if 50, we compare it with next index in the array. 50 greater than 60? No. So we'll do nothing. Then we'll pick up the next element in the array, that is 60. Then we'll compare again, like with the next element in the array. 60 greater than 20? Yes, this time it is true. So we are going to swap these two elements. Now 20 is here and 60 is here as we swapped this element. Swapping is interchanging these two values, just changing the positions, these two element positions. So we have 60 here now, and we'll go to the index 4 now. Whatever the value here in the index 4. So index 4, the new value is 60. Now again we'll do the same process. 60 is compared with the element in the next index. Element in the next index is 10. So 60 compared with 10. Is 60 greater than 10? Yes. Again we'll swap these two values. So it will become 10 here and 60 here. And if you observe, like when we are done with all the elements, we are not going to pick up the last element, the element which is at the fifth index, as we don't have any more elements to compare with. So we'll stop the picking up values till uh, the last but one index. And if you observe here, once we are done with this, uh, within one pass, the highest element in the array will be placed at its correct position, that is at the last position. And this process will actually continue till all the elements in the array are placed at the correct position. Now let us see how it works. So in the first pass, what happens, like these are the elements in the array, and we actually pick up the first element 30. Is 30 greater than 40? No. So we'll keep the array as is, as shown in the figure, and we'll pick up the next index in the next element is 40. So we'll pick up 40, and then we'll compare 40 with next element in the array. Is 40 greater than 50? No. So we'll again, like keep the array as is. So you can see it here. We'll not change the array. As we compared 40 with 50, as 40 is not greater than 50, we'll keep the array as is. Next we'll pick up uh, third element in the array, that is 50 here. 50 is greater than 60? No. So we'll not change the array again, like we'll keep the array as is. Next we'll pick up the fourth element in the array, that is 60. Is 60 greater than 20? Yes. So we are going to swap these two values, 20 and 60, and you can see it here. Now we'll pick up the fifth element in the array, that is 60 here. 60 is compared with the next element in the array. Is 60 greater than 10? Yes. If it is greater, then we'll swap the values as shown here. And we'll pick up the sixth element in the array. Usually we should be picking up the sixth element in the array, this one. but we don't have any more elements to compare this value, this element. So we will not actually pick this element. And by this time, if you observe, when we complete this for one round, one iteration, the highest element in the array is placed at its correct position. And now, how about other elements? We are going to follow the same process till all the elements in the array are like placed in the correct position. Now let us actually continue the process. So what we need to do here, if you observe, this is the new array, like the elements in the array are like arranged in this order now. And what's our goal? We need to get all the elements in the sorted order, like in the ascending order. Now we'll see that. So this is the like new array which we have, and what's the process we are going to follow? We'll pick up the first element from the array. We'll compare this element with the next element in the array. So 30 greater than 40? No. So we'll put like we'll keep the array as is. We'll not change anything. So you can see it here as is. Next we'll pick up the next element in the array, 40. 40 greater than 50? No. So we'll keep the array unchanged. We'll pick up the next element, 50. Is 50 greater than 20? Yes. So we are going to swap these two values. Then we'll pick up the fourth element in the array, that is 50. Is 50 greater than 10? Yes. So we'll swap these two values. And fifth, we should be picking up the fifth element in the array and comparing it with the next element. But we will not do so, as the last element in the array is already at its correct position. So we will not actually pick up the fifth element here for the comparison, and we'll stop it here. And if you observe, by this time, the next highest element in the array is placed at its correct position, that is 50. Now there are like 4 elements left which are like not sorted, not in the sorted order. Now we'll actually proceed the same process for rest of the elements. This is the new array, like the elements in the new array are like in this position now. Now we'll to actually proceed with the same process. What we'll do is, again we'll take the first element in the array. Is 30 greater than 40? No. So you can see it here. Still, we will not change the array. We will take this array as is. We will not change anything. And then we'll pick up the next element in the array, that is 40. Is 40 greater than 20? We'll compare it with the next element. Is 40 greater than 20? Yes. So we are going to swap those two values here. You can see it here. And then we'll pick up the third element, that is 40 here. 40 is compared with 10. Is 40 greater than 10? Yes. So we're going to swap these two values again, 10 and 40. And this time we are not going to again like pick up the fourth element, as fourth element, even though you pick it up, you wanted to compare that with the fifth element, which is already placed at its correct position. So we don't want it to compare that. We'll leave it as is, and by this time, if you observe, the next highest element is placed at its correct position. And we'll continue the process for the rest of the elements. So this is the current position of the elements in the array. And what we wanted to do, we'll again pick up a first element in the array. Is 30 greater than 20? Yes, this time it is true. So we are going to swap those two values. And we'll pick up the second element in the array and compare it with the next element. 30 greater than 10? Yes, true. So we are going to swap these two values. And this time we will not pick up the third element in the array, as already till fourth element all the elements are placed at the correct position. So we'll stop it here. And then we'll again and if you observe, by this time the next highest element in the array is also placed at its correct position. Now we are left with only these two elements, and even these two elements will not actually pick up the second element, as even though you pick up the second element, you need to compare that with the third element, but the third element is already placed at its correct position. So we only need one comparison, that is the first element should be compared with second element. So we'll do that now. 20 greater than 10? Yes. So it should be swapped, and you can see it here. It is swapped, and we are not going to pick up the second element, as third element is already placed at its correct position. And here we should be stopping the our like iteration. So after pass 5, so if you observe, even 20 is also placed at its correct position. Now what should we do according to the process is, we should be picking up the first element, but if you pick up the first element, you don't have any more elements to compare with, as even the second element is also placed at its correct position. So the first element, like we'll assume that it is also at the correct position, as it is the only element left. As like and you can see it here clearly, this is how actually bubble sort algorithm works, and you can see it here after 5 passes all the elements are in sorted order. And if you observe, as we have 6 elements in the array, we require 5 passes. 5 passes to actually sort all the elements in the ascending order. You can clearly see it here. Like for example, if you take any stick, if you wanted to break it into like 5 equal pieces, you only need 4 cuts, right? Like that, you just need like 5 passes to actually sort the 6 elements. Like the last element will automatically be placed in its correct position. Now let us try to write a Java program for the same. For that, let me open my Eclipse. Let me create a new class. We'll name it as bubble sort. And for that, let us take the same example: 30, 40, 50, 60, and 20, 10. Now we need length of the array. So we'll declare a variable n and we'll actually store the length of the array. Now observe what we wanted to do. We wanted to follow a process where, for that, I'll declare for loop, and this loop, it has to execute. Let's come to the condition. Like first of all, it should start with the index 0, and if you observe, it should actually compare with the next element in the array. So for that, if a of j is greater than a of j plus 1 is what I'll write. So the element, the current element, if it is greater than the next element, then what we wanted to do, we wanted to swap the elements. So for that, I'm using temp variable where I'll store a of j value, and then we'll have a of j plus 1. We are just swapping j and j plus 1, like how we saw in the example. And now we'll have a of j plus 1 equal to temp. This is how we can swap the values. So if swap the values, that is fine. So what if this condition is false? So we'll do nothing. We'll just go back to the loop and we'll pick up the next index. And this, how many times we wanted to do this? If you observe, like in this example, like we did it like if in the first pass, if you observe, even though there are like 6 elements, we actually picked up the element till fifth element. Like we picked up till fifth element and we left the sixth element, as there are no more elements to compare the sixth element with. So we had only like picked up only 5 elements, even though we have 6 elements in the array. So for that, it has to be like length, whatever the length of the array, minus 1. So let's write it here. This is fine, but till now it is fine. Now this, we wanted to, till here what we achieved, only pass 1 we achieved. If you observe, the logic which we wrote is can be like achieved for only pass 1, and we wanted this to actually loop it for all the passes. Like how many passes we have, you can clearly see it here, 5 passes, and the number of elements in the array 6. This we wanted to repeat the same process which we wrote now, the logic. This we wanted to repeat it for like 5 times. As the array length is 6, we wanted to have like 5 passes, meaning the length of the array minus 1. And for that, we'll write another loop for the passes. I less than n minus 1, I plus plus. So this is for passes. The first, the inner loop is for within the pass to run the number of iterations, and if you observe, the outer loop is for all the passes. Like there are number 5 passes, right? For that, we are actually declaring this this loop, outer loop. And we are almost done with the logic except for one thing. Like I just need to close this loop. Okay. Now, except if you observe here, we are in each pass we are actually leaving one element which is already sorted. Like say for example, here we had 5 iterations, and here we are having only 4 iterations in this pass, as we are not actually picking up the elements which are already sorted. So for the first time we had only 5 comparisons, if you observe. Like in the second pass we had only 4. We didn't pick up the 5th element as it was already placed in the correct position. So in each time, like in each pass, there is one iteration will be less, as one element will already be be sorted and will be in placed in at its correct position. We'll have one iteration less in each pass. So for that, what we can do is n minus 1 minus, how do we actually know that how much to decrease? That we'll take it as I value. So I value is increased, right, every time. That will actually subtract it for the iteration, so that it will only iterate for like each time it will iterate one less than the previous pass. That's how it works. And now we are done with the logic. Once we are done with the logic, what we can do is we can just actually display the arrays. Like we'll say before sorting the elements, before sorting, the array is arrays dot to string of array. It will display the array. Now we'll do it after sorting also. After sorting, the array is, we just wanted to print before sorting how the array looks, and after sorting how the array looks. Now let us execute this and verify. And we can clearly see here, before sorting the array is like this, and after sorting the array is, you can see it here in like sorted order. And if we wanted to actually print after each pass how it looks like, so what we can do is we can just print it here. After pass I plus 1, array is arrays dot to string of a. Now you can see here, after pass 1, array is like this. So we can actually compare that with these values. And this is how, like we can sort the elements in an array using bubble sort algorithm. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching.